Disability Network Southwest Michigan logo. Paul Eklund, ADA Specialist and Systems Advocate.
Disability Network Southwest Michigan is important to this area because it's one of the few organizations that works with people with disabilities of all different types of disabilities. It's not disability focused on one specific disability.
Carlicia Munn, Volunteer Receptionist.
They're here to help us, those who have disabilities, answer the questions that we don't have the answers to. We can come to them and they know. If they don't know the answer, they know where to point us.
Sandra Calderon-Hueso, Disability Network Board Member.
Access for all in so many levels is important for our communities because it is the way that communities thrive when individuals are living the best quality of life that they can and they feel that they're a part of the community, accepted and welcoming. That is when our communities are the strongest.
Bill Chapman, former Disability Network Board Chair.
It's important because it gives you a handle to deal with your disability.
Michael Seals, former Kalamazoo County Commissioner and Disability Network employee.
People can come here knowing that they can get hope for their future.
Max Hornick, Community Education Specialist.
So a lot of times when people think about disability, they think immediately, the first image that comes to their mind is a person using a wheelchair. And that is one form of disability. But the reality is about 80% of all disabilities are what we call non-apparent. Some people might refer to these as hidden or invisible disabilities. So most of the time when you're interacting with a person with a disability, you're not going to be able to tell right away just by looking at them.
Yvonne Fleener, Disability Network President and CEO.
Often accessibility, yes, there's the things that we all see, the physical things, right? Ramps and things that we all think of for accessibility, but there's a lot more to it. And so having that diverse disability expertise and lived experience that we have, when we're in the community, we might notice things or experience things that you just would overlook if you hadn't had that experience.
There needs to be a paradigm shift so that people will start recognizing that they are part of that disability community sooner or later. And disability is basically it's a condition that can happen to anybody at any time. It's an equal opportunity condition.
Sharon DeHaan, Volunteer Receptionist.
Older people sometimes don't want to think of themselves as old, I don't know, or don't want to think of themselves as disabled. But that happens to a lot of people as they get older, and there's so much they don't know is available, so much they can learn and get help with.
How do you exist after your lights go off, so to speak, and any emotional and psychological changes that you go through, denial and all of that. I had to go through some training, how to use a cane, how to get around town and that type of thing. And my cane is what I call my eyes now. And my mobility instructor is a person I say, hey, this is the man who gave me my eyes.
There was a time in my life when I could do stairs. I walked on crutches and braces. Well, I can't do that anymore. So it's so great that we've come a long way, but we got a long ways to go, because I'm always saying what's accessible for one is not accessible for someone else, because everybody's disabilities are different.
Accessible street parking close to curb cut.
There is still a lot of work to be done in our communities, but one of the things, again, about Kalamazoo and their innovation and their strive for excellence is we already have community partners who want to work with us and are working with us to improve their accessibility in that truest form, where it goes beyond just the physical and goes into how can we create an environment that's welcoming to our employees, welcoming to our customers.
Julian Wilder, HR Generalist, Kalamazoo Nature Center.
I think the ADA does a great job in making sure that organizations like the Nature Center are considering how we be accessible to folks during hiring process and making sure that we're compliant But there's a whole nother level of visitor experience that recommendations from Disability Network can help us go beyond compliance, because at a place like the Nature Center, visitor experience is everything.
Universal design is really 7 concepts. It doesn't have the sort of like distinction of like where you look at building code, you know exactly what you need to do to meet code. It's not that way with universal design. It's concepts to include everybody as much as possible into what's going on in society.
Jason Novotny, Tower Pinkster Design Director and Senior Principal.
When we use this universal design lens, this creates spaces which are easily accessible and independent and can be used by the broadest group of people in our community. When we incorporate them early on in the design process, we think that they can also be cost neutral rather than a costly retrofit to achieve the same results. So all in all, thinking about universal design at the beginning of a project is a win-win for everybody.
Kevin Crittenden, Disability Network Board Member and Associate with Southwest Michigan First Chamber.
As we look to build, there's so much going on in Kalamazoo. We have the event center. We're looking at redeveloping the infrastructure, downtown, and doing these things on the forefront. For one, making that investment, you know, it'll pay off on the back end from that attraction, that accessibility, making us a more inviting place. I think as people look at how they live, how they do life, as I like to say, they want to go to communities that are inclusive. And that's a big topic of conversation.
One sign is on, 18, 17, 16.
Accessible picnic table. Jane Ghosh, CEO of Discover Kalamazoo.
So Discover Kalamazoo's role in the community is to bring in visitors. We're the Convention and Visitors Bureau for Kalamazoo County. And we partner with Disability Network to help us understand how we can best welcome visitors with accessibility needs.
The Kalamazoo community is a community that already has a drive for excellence. They're innovative, they're collaborative, they're welcoming. And so the work that we want to do just really fits in to elevate the whole community.
Kalamazoo has been a pioneer in so many things. We were the first place in the country, in the entire country, that had sidewalk cutouts to allow accessibility for wheelchairs. And again, importantly, not just for wheelchairs, but also, you know, for moms with strollers or parents with strollers or, you know, any of that.
First curb cut in the United States, 1945.
Wheelchair users deserve to be out and about too. We have lives that we want to go out and do stuff every day. We need accessibility.
Yeah, accessibility for all is important because there's so many people that need that extra little help.
Without individuals there to make sure that there's advocacy, that there's a voice, that folks are feeling empowered to be able to bring that voice to the spaces necessary to continue that work, there would just be a lack of participation from such an important part of what is the overall community.
I have learned a lot since I've been here, for sure, even about people with other disabilities that even though I have one, I was not aware of.
Without Disability Network, I don't think that people would feel that there was any hope. That's the service that is so important that Disability Network provides to everyone that comes through their door. Because it's not just, you know, that I'm here to help you get through this crisis. I'll be here for every crisis.